Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for waiting and welcome to this unusual press conference by HRVP, High Representative Vice President of the Commission, Josep Borrell, who will share with you a few ideas and remarks about Operation Irini, which was adopted by the Council not so long ago. So, High Representative, please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I would like to start this unusual press conference by honoring all those people around the world who has lost their lives due to the coronavirus. And I also want to pay tribute and convey my thanks to all health workers who have putting their lives at risk in fighting the pandemic. Finally, I want also to honor all those who are keeping our societies running and working despite the difficult circumstances. Without their work, the life of tens of millions of people would be much more difficult. As you know, we are doing everything we can to tackle the pandemic, employing all efforts at the European Union disposal, and at the same time, we should not forget that none of the problems we are dealing with have disappeared. The world continues turning around, and many of these problems are becoming worse. Some of them are becoming bigger and worse, and we have to continue paying attention to them. Take a look, for example, to our direct neighborhood. Libya has to be a priority to the European Union, and it's going to be a priority of my mandate. In January, we hold the Berlin conference that created an important opportunity, but unhappily the situation in the country continues to be very critical and calls for urgent action. It's calling for urgent action since a lot of time ago. You know that 6 weeks ago, we took the political agreement, the member states took the political agreement at the February Foreign Affairs Council to turn our statements into action and to launch Operation Irini. 6 weeks later, today, 1 hour ago, the member state has finally approved by written procedure the formal launching of this operation with all technical details arranged. This is a good news, and I want to thank all people who has made this possible through 6 weeks of intense, difficult and complex negotiations about how this mission should be implemented with member states. I want to thank especially to the civil servants of the European Union, all bodies of the European Union, for the hard work they've done in order to reach an agreement which has not been easy. But 1 hour ago, finally, I am happy to say that the member states agreed on any specific detail in order to launch the Operation Irini. I think this is an important contribution of the European Union to support the political process, the so-called Berlin process, aimed at ending the conflict in Libya. Second, it also shows that in times of coronavirus, we continue being aware of our responsibility and try to play an important role in promoting peace in our immediate neighborhood. We have been saying repeatedly that only political solutions and respect to the European Union and United Nations arms embargo is the solution to the Libyan crisis. But diplomacy cannot succeed unless it is backed by action. And I think that this operation will be essential It's not the only solution, but it's an important part of the solution to contribute to a permanent ceasefire. The aims of Irini is to enforce the United Nations arms embargo, and it will be acting according with the United Nations Security Council resolution. The goal is to stop the flow of arms to Libya and contributing to a sustainable ceasefire, as I said. The operation will deploy naval, aerial, and satellite assets, and this will allow us, the European Union, to provide the United Nations with a broader picture of the possible trafficking of weapons to Libya. This operation is very different from the operation that is replacing, Operation Sophia, very familiar from all of us. Sophia was launched in 2015, 5 years ago, and their main aim was to fight organized crime responsible for migrant trafficking. Other tasks were also attached to Sophia in order to control the situation in the central Mediterranean, but they were complementary tasks. In the case of Operation Irini, it's being launched with the primary task of contributing and supporting to the implementation of arms embargo. It's the other way around. This is the main purpose. The objective is to contribute to the control of arms embargo. And it will also retain some secondary tasks, including preventing oil smuggling and other organized crime activities, and also to continue training the Libyan Coast Guard. But the main objective, the aim that has been pushing for the creation, launching of this operation, is arms embargo. There will be a fourth generation conference this afternoon, in which member states will decide their commitments to provide assets to the operation. The headquarters will continue to be in Rome. And to finish this statement, I want to stress my regret that the fighting in Libya has increased in the last days, despite the international calls for truce to help to contain the coronavirus pandemic done by the Secretary General of the United Nations. I think that nobody can afford to war two wars at the same time. It is therefore crucial that we do all we can in order to fight against the coronavirus, also in Libya. And from this point of view, Irini is also a contribution to this purpose. I can say more things about the coronavirus and our efforts to help African countries to fight against pandemics, but I think that today we have to concentrate our attentions, and I hope your questions, to this important and good news. There are not many good news. This is one. I am happy to present it to you, and once again, I want to thank all the people who made it possible. Thank you.
Much indeed. We have been receiving questions, as we usually do under these special circumstances. The questions were incoming by specific email, and I will read them out in the order how they came. First question from Michael Winde from DPA, German press agency. Irini is meant to monitor the UN arms embargo against Libya on the Mediterranean. How do you plan to observe the arms delivered over land? And don't you think that the Operation Irini is a one-sided intervention in Libya's civil war, as long as the EU doesn't monitor the arms delivered over land?
Irini is part of the solution. It's not the solution. We don't have one solution. We have to act in different fronts, and we have to do what we can do. Irini is not only a Navy operation. It's Navy, aerial, and satellite operation. It cannot be a land operation, but we can do what we can do. We have to do what we can do. And I think it's an important contribution. It's not the solution with a capital T or capital S, but it's an important part of a solution. And for sure, it's focusing on Navy, aerial and satellite means, which are the ones that we can mobilize.
Thank you. Another question also from Germany, Hans-Uwe Mergener from Mittler Report Verlag. Will there be a fourth generation conference this week? If so, already any results on the fourth generation conference?
This afternoon, a fourth generation conference will take place where once everything has been agreed about the rules of engagement, about the mission, about anything that has been discussing during these days, the member states will provide assets to this operation. And there are, as far as I know, many who want to contribute. But this conference will take place this afternoon, and I hope that at the end of the day we will know which is the result.
Thank you. Similar question from Thomas Gutschke, Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung from Germany. How many and which states have pledged vessels in support of Irini? You answered that with this conference this afternoon. When will they be deployed, and where exactly will their area of responsibility be?
Well, it will take a certain time. Once we have an agreement on which member states will be providing assets in order to launch, to implement practical terms operation, I suppose it's going to take some time. I don't know how long, but I suppose a short period of time in order to send the ships to the sea. I cannot precise if it is going to be 1 week or 2 weeks, but it's an operational issue in which politically speaking, I don't have any possibility of intervening. It's the military staff who will have to decide it according with the capacities of each member state. And about the areas that will be allocated to each member state, this is part of the reserve information. I cannot tell you.
Thank you. Next question from Patrizia Antonini from the Italian press agency ANSA. Could you please give us some details on how the agreement was made possible? When will the mission start to be operative? In case the vessels of the EU mission save migrants at sea, where will they be disembarked? Is there a specific provision that indicates Greek ports? How will migrants and refugees be redistributed? Is Italy involved?
Well, as I said, I cannot precise once the conference will take place this afternoon. I cannot precise when the ships will be patrolling the high waters of the Libyan coast. It will be a matter of days. Well, migrants are not migrants. Anyone in the sea have to be rescued. That's international law. These ships are not patrolling the seas looking for people to rescue. Their mission is clearly one, I stress it. I want to put all the importance to the fact that this is not Sophia bis. It is a completely different operation. The main purpose, is to control the arms embargo. There are collateral or additional missions which are unavoidable. Say it or not, if the ships found someone in the sea, they will have to rescue them. Be migrants or be whatever. And they will have to rescue them, to save them, and there is an agreement among the member states that will participate in the mission in order how to proceed, where to disembark, and how to share the burden. But this is also something that is part of the reserve documentation of the mission.
Thank you.
But this agreement exists, and we know how to proceed, and the Navy commander will know what to do in this case, if this happens. because the mission is not devoted to look people, to rescue them. But if this happens, we will know how to proceed.
Thank you. Next question from Ali Wahida, APTN. La question en français. Le transfert des combattants étrangers vers la Libye est aussi inquiétant que celui des armes. Sans résoudre ce volet de la question libyenne dans lequel la Turquie joue un rôle public, pensez-vous que Irini sera vraiment efficace?
J'espère bien. Et comme tu dis avant, Irini, ce n'est pas la potion magique d'Astérix. Hein. Ce n'est pas qu'on met un peu d'Irini et le problème est résolu. Le problème est complexe, il est difficile, il est multidimensionnel. C'est une partie de la solution. On fait ce que nous pouvons faire. Et ce n'est pas parce qu'on ne peut pas faire certaines choses qu'on ne doit pas s'empêcher d'en faire d'autres. Il faut agir là où on peut agir. On n'est pas en situation de déployer une force terrestre à la frontière entre l'Égypte et la Libye. Ça, on ne peut pas le faire. Ça veut dire qu'il ne faut rien faire? Non, on peut faire beaucoup. Des moyens navals, des moyens aériens et des moyens satellitales. Ça va nous donner beaucoup d'informations, ça va nous permettre de contrôler une partie importante de la route qui prennent des armes vers la Libye. Ce n'est pas les 100% de la solution. Non, ce n'est pas les 100% de la solution. Mais c'est une partie importante, ça ouvre les pas à chercher d'autres. L'efficacité, on verra bien. J'espère bien qu'elle sera efficace. Et je n'ai aucun doute qu'une fois que les bateaux des différentes marines européennes seront déployés dans les eaux libyennes, ils feront bien son travail.
L'autre question en français de Noureddin Fridi à l'Arabia News Channel. La flotte européenne devrait agir dans les eaux internationales en face de l'est de la Libye. Il est prouvé qu'environ 40% des violations de l'embargo des armes sont enregistrées dans les frontières orientales de la Libye. L'opération Irini aura-elle les moyens d'observer de telles violations?
Oui. Ce n'est pas seulement une opération maritime. C'est une opération maritime, aérienne et satellitale. Et il y aura des moyens d'observer ce qui se passe dans l'espace aérien et ce qui se passe dans la surface à travers des satellites et des systèmes radars embarqués dans les bateaux. Des systèmes d'observation à très longue distance, comme c'est les satellites, et des systèmes d'observation à courte distance, que c'est les radars embarqués sur les bateaux qui vont faire une surveillance systématique de ce qu'il se passe dans la frontière orientale de la Libye.
Merci. La deuxième partie des questions de Noureddin concerne les violations de l'embargo par la Turquie. L'opération Irini possède-t-elle des relais qui permettront d'observer les activités suspectes qui ont provenance de Turquie pour aider les troupes du gouvernement de Tripoli?
C'est une opération de contrôle du trafic maritime et du trafic aérien. Évidemment, c'est fait pour ça. C'est pour, tu ne peux pas mettre un nom précis. Ce n'est pas la Turquie ou un autre pays. Il s'agit de voir qu'est-ce qu'il se passe du point de vue du trafic d'armes. Tu ne peux pas poser un nom à un pays quiconque. Le trafic d'armes c'est pas une exclusivité d'un pays déterminé. Il y en a beaucoup qui y participent.
Thank you. And finally, because we will have to finish because the midday will start soon, will the NATO cooperate with Operation Irini as it did with Operation Sophia? If yes, what kind of support do you expect from the NATO?
The NATO support? Well, this is an European Union mission. NATO is not engaged. It's an European Union operation.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attention and once again for the patience, and thank you also to the interpreters who are helping us to convey the messages also in other languages. So thank you, High Representative, and see you in a few moments during the midday. Bye.
Thank you.